All right, let's talk about something we all deal with every single day, stress. But I want you to try and forget everything you think you know about it, because we're going to reframe it. What if stress isn't just a feeling? What if it's actually an ancient superpower? A superpower that somehow in our modern world has started to turn against us. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. A superpower that's slowly killing you. It's a huge paradox, right? The very same system that evolved over millennia to save your ancestors from instant death is now the very thing that might be taking years off your life. And that's the big question we're going to unpack here. How on earth did this incredible biological toolkit, designed for survival, become a modern-day curse? Well, to find the answer, we have to go back in time, way back. So I want you to travel back with me, say 50,000 years. Picture one of your ancestors. The world is a totally different place, right? It's filled with very real, very immediate, life or death dangers. And it's in that environment that our stress response was perfectly sculpted. This right here captures the entire problem in a nutshell. Our biology, our entire stress response, is built to handle the saber-toothed tiger, a physical, intense, but importantly, short-lived threat. But today, that same ancient system is getting triggered by an angry email, something that's abstract, not physical, and can linger for days. It's the same biological reaction in a completely different world. Okay, so let's stick with that saber-toothed tiger. It suddenly appears. Instantly, your ancestor's brain screams, life-threatening danger, and this powerful ancient biological program just kicks into high gear. And at its core, this is what stress really is. It's your body's big red emergency button. It hits the brakes on all the long-term projects, things like digestion, your immune system, even rest, what scientists call homeostasis, and it pours every ounce of energy into one thing, surviving the next 5 minutes. Now, this isn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling of being overwhelmed. No, it's a very specific, 4-step biological chain reaction. First, your brain spots the threat. That triggers a massive rush of adrenaline to get you ready for immediate action, fight or flight. And then, if that threat sticks around, a second hormone, cortisol, joins the party. So let's zoom in on adrenaline. You can think of it as your body's own built-in performance-enhancing drug. Your heart starts pounding to get oxygen to your muscles, your senses get razor sharp, you don't feel pain or fatigue, and your brain is basically rewired for one thing, a gut-level, split-second decision. You're not going to sit there making a pro-con list when a tiger is lunging at you, right? Okay, but what happens if the fight drags on? Adrenaline burns out pretty fast. That's where cortisol comes in. Cortisol is the strategic, long-haul hormone. It keeps you fueled up for a longer battle by dumping energy into your bloodstream and shutting down anything that's not absolutely essential for survival. At this point, nothing else matters. Okay, so that's how the superpower works. It's an incredible system. But our world has changed a lot. And our biology, well, it hasn't really caught up. And that brings us to what we could call the modern tiger problem. The real tigers are gone, but they have been replaced. Today's tigers are things like this. They're abstract, there are dozens of them, and they never really seem to go away. And here's the crazy part. Every single one of these can trigger the exact same fight or flight response that was meant to save you from a predator. And this is the part you really gotta get. The ancient, primitive part of your brain is hardwired to take any threat seriously. It honestly can't tell the difference between a real physical danger and a psychological one, like a passive-aggressive text. And that means your fight-or-flight system can get switched on again and again and again all day long. So what happens when that system is turned on all the time, with no off switch? With no moment where you actually win the fight and the tiger is gone? Well, it becomes chronic stress. And that is when this superpower starts to become a poison. The whole downward spiral usually starts in your body. You're always braced for a fight that never actually comes, so your muscles just stay tense. Sound familiar? That leads to that chronic neck and back pain, those pounding headaches. Your digestive system is always on the back burner, which causes all sorts of issues. And all that cortisol is screaming at your body to store energy, usually as belly fat. From there, the damage goes even deeper, to your organs. The constant strain on your heart and your blood vessels, well, it massively increases your risk of a heart attack or a stroke. Your immune system is suppressed because, hey, who cares about a cold when you're fighting a tiger, which makes you get sick more often. And inflammation, which is at the root of so many diseases, just runs rampant through your whole body. And finally, this constant state of emergency actually rewires your brain. It makes you impulsive and reactive instead of calm and thoughtful. It messes with your memory, your ability to think clearly, and it can pave the way for anxiety and depression. And this creates a truly vicious circle. The more stressed you are, the less capable your brain becomes of solving the very problems that are causing the stress in the first place. I know, that all sounds incredibly grim, but here is the good news, I promise. You are not powerless against this. You can actually learn to tame this ancient system. You can learn to start using your superpower the way it was always meant to be used. And this is really the key question, isn't it? If we know that stress is just a part of life, how do we learn to work with it in a way that helps us instead of hurts us? This is where we need a bit of a mindset shift. The goal isn't to eliminate stress. That's literally impossible. The goal is to make sure stress is short-term and that it's always followed by recovery. See, the problem isn't the stress itself. It's the fact that we never get to the other side of it. We never turn the system off. So think of this as a kind of user's manual for your stress response. Step 1, and it sounds so simple, but it's crucial, listen to your body. If you feel stressed, you are stressed. Don't just push through it. Next, you have to actively do things that tell your body the danger has passed. Exercise, a hobby, meditation, anything that completes the cycle. And of course, if you can, deal with the thing that's causing the stress in the first place. And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway of all. We can learn to manage our response, but the single most powerful thing you can do is to remove the source of the chronic stress. Yeah, this might mean making a big change, like leaving a toxic job or a bad relationship. Or it could be as simple as unfollowing a bunch of stressful accounts on social media. Let's end on this really critical idea. Our culture often makes us feel guilty about relaxing, right? Like it's being lazy or unproductive. But it is not. Actively recovering from stress, signaling to your ancient biology that the battle is over and you won, that is a biological necessity. It's serious, vital self-care. Look, life is always going to have challenges. It's always going to throw stressors your way, and you're going to need this superpower to face them. The key is just to remember that the stress response is only half the story. You have to complete the cycle. Use the power, then deliberately, consciously shift into rest and recovery. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When you really look at your life, what are the modern tigers that are constantly setting off your ancient alarm bells? And what's just one small step, one thing you can do today to start taming one of them?